How about you get in your Mayflower moving vans and get the fuck out of town? This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
You bet, middle-aged lesbian with the glasses. I raise you. I'll cut my hair too low because I cut it without my glasses on. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 392, somewhere around there, of the O The Anthem podcast.
Ish.
Coming to you from all over LA, but Corey is there at the O The Anthem studios, gentrifying LA, one neighborhood at a time. Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you for listening on your podcatcher of choice. The easiest way, anchor.fm/O The Anthem.
I can't see anything. I can't even see to press the buttons. If anybody knows a good LASIK place, please send that to me. I need to get the LASIK done and just be done with it. Since I have to wear glasses for the next 8 weeks.
I could probably call up the people who did me and then just say like, hey, you got a referral program?
Listen, as you already know, when it comes to anything Eskimo, I got to go first. I can't go after you. I'm sorry. That's just how things work.
I don't think there's such a thing as Eskimo surgeries.
I mean, I feel like there is. I feel like Eskimo doctors.
I'm also worried that a joke like that is going to get me. Well, we'll get to John Gruden later.
Listen, all I'm saying is that when a doctor's had his hands inside you, I don't want him to have his hands inside me.
It didn't have
it's the same way. It works both ways.
I got the BRK. They didn't even have to lift up the eyeballs or nothing. They just.
Oh yeah. By the way, that's the other thing
from the outside.
I need the PRK. I cannot be having the cutting of the eyeballs, and that's not gonna work for me. So,
but the PRK is only if you need it.
Oh, I need it. I need it because I'm not gonna be able to function. I don't know how else to explain that. I'm not gonna be able to do it. But
I can't wait to get Doc Ock pictures of you.
I won't see you for 2 weeks. That's gonna be the whole thing. I'll do what I did.
I will break into your fucking place with a flashlight just to watch you scramble.
I'm going to do exactly what I did at my last eye exam, which, by the way, I had a woman in my life for, and she refused to pick me up because I picked the winners. But what happened was they said, hey, can you come pick me up? They had to put the dilator stuff in my eyes. And she said, I'm busy, which turned out to be drinking with Corey's girlfriend. So, yeah, real busy. So I strapped on the dark sunglasses they gave me, put my sunglasses on top, and then stuffed some paper into the gap and tried to ride home in the shade. That was my recipe for success. I feel like I could do the same.
You scooted home?
I scooted home. It was not a good idea. Also, I almost died, and I felt like my eyes might be, zapped out of my skull, which is basically how I felt last night watching Monday Night Football. But of course, if we're going to talk about the Ravens, we have to play a little. See, when I set myself up, it's perfect. Even if I don't know where the buttons are, I can still transition just fine. All right. So, anyway, sports ball.
Yeah. So the Ravens had a huge come from behind win last night on Monday Night Football, which is why we're recording Tuesday night as opposed to the usual Monday night. Because we both wanted to watch the Ravens.
We could have recorded last night, but Corey had said some very unpleasant things to the TV, and I felt like maybe he needed a day to cool down. The hat is looking fine after being thrown about the apartment, so that's good.
It was thrown. I remember the moment too. I threw the hat was when Lamar fumbled it on the half-yard line, and then they returned it for a touchdown. And then miraculously wasn't a touchdown anymore. I also said that this felt a lot like the NFL had some sort of say in the situation, like, hey, this game's becoming a blowout. Why don't we try and tighten this up a little bit? But you know what? I'll take it. It's fine. I'll take a win.
It went to the booth. So you can't say it did or did not have interference from the NFL. That's all I'm saying.
It went to the booth, and the fumble was good, but the touchdown was off. I mean, they later scored the touchdown, so I guess like it really wouldn't have mattered that much. But
here's the thing: in the grand scheme, it did because it left less time for Carson Wentz on the back end of our scoring drive.
I mean,
so almost better that way.
I mean, everything is kind of a butterfly effect, If that touchdown, if they had more time on the clock after the touchdown, blah blah blah, how would it happen?
What are your thoughts coming out of the game? Yeah, I know you have some stuff to say about the Ravens.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way: my love for the Ravens, my love for Lamar, my love for all the key characters in this ongoing drama that we love. is it
Much
has
like you
not
love your
changed.
child,
I
it's
love
it's
I love
balanced.
Lamar just as much before as I do now, and I don't know how I could love him anymore, and yet I do. But there is a problem. So I try and be. I explained it to Roberto this way. I know how difficult it is to play professional football at a high level. You know,
Do you? Do you though?
given my firsthand knowledge of the whole thing. Uh, and I know that, you know, the slogan is any given Sunday, because literally any Sunday, any two teams, they're both full of professionals. You know, either team has a chance at some way, you know?
It's like comparing billionaires to us. Like, yes, we're all people. Yes, we all have some savings, some money, but anybody on any NFL team is a billionaire compared to us with our regular money.
Well, not only that, I mean, like, I remember back when I worked at Andy Nelson's, I asked Andy about it. I said, what's the one thing people don't seem to understand about NFL athletes? And he said, the worst person on the team is not that far separated from the best person on the team, right?
Yeah.
And I remember playing college football, or playing football in college with Marcus Colston, who would go on to play in the NFL,
Yeah.
and saying to myself, he is worlds better than all of us. He is
Yeah,
he is a
absolutely.
man in a
Absolutely.
child's game, basically, compared to the rest of us. And it shows you the delta between, you know, like some schmo and a professional NFL player. And then
Well,
beyond that, knowing that the difference between the best player and the worst player in the NFL is not like the delta between Marcus Colston and the rest of us who were playing football with him that day. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like,
no.
it's humongous.
It's the you should have an average person compete in the Olympics just so we have a barometer to see, like, I mean, I could swim as fast as that guy. No, look in lane 9. That's
Yeah.
the guy who they just picked out of the crowd. He's on lap 2. He's not even there yet.
I would love nothing more than an average Joe to just compete in Olympic events, just to be as a barometer. Like, just watch his
Almost
shot
like,
put,
you
like,
know,
overlaid on top of the real shot put, and just see.
much like a Beastmaster. I think we should have, you know, some professional athletes do Beastmaster so they can show Corey he in no way could compete. In no way could he actually make it up the first obstacle. These
Listen,
guys train for it. So
that one's easy. Clearly, nobody's going to convince me otherwise. Moving on, back to the Ravens, though.
Sure, yeah,
I understand most games, like, it could go either way. It might be tight. We might have to come back. We might blow them out. Like, all these things are like options, or things that could potentially happen. But when we play certain games, I don't want to just win. You know, I don't want to just beat the Yankees. I don't want to just beat the Steelers. I don't want to just beat the Colts. I want to, like, embarrass them. I want to put my foot on their throat and then step down. Like, I have no... You remember, like, when Belichick had that 16-0 Patriots season, and he was, like, running up the score on the Jets in the fourth quarter just because he hated them? Like, that's what I yearned for. I yearned for a Monday night game where the Ravens beat them 76-0. Like, that's what I wanted. And immediately became obvious that was not in the cards. And then the joy of the comeback sort of left me for a while, because I was so angry that we were even in this position with the Colts. And I know they're a professional football team, probably better than they've looked so far this season. They certainly played better than they did at any point during the season that I could tell yesterday. But it really does upset me when we don't, like, crush a team like that, because the Colts in particular, because of their history with Baltimore, is something that is born into people who live there. It's like in the soil.
No, it is there for you. It is not there for anyone who is under 40 other than you. I don't understand this focus on the Colts.
No, I 100% disagree with that statement. It'd be like, because I was literally born after the Colts left. So I was born like a month after they left. And all growing up throughout my life, you know, I'm under the 40 designation that you put. Growing up throughout my life, football was dead to us. There was no watching football anymore. I didn't watch a Super Bowl, maybe one, before like 96 when the Ravens got in the league. Like, there was one probably that I watched prior, but I didn't watch football at all until the Ravens came to town, because it was dead to us. It was literally the only games we would watch were NFL Classic Colts games.
But you can enjoy it, and unlike every woman I date, be so focused on the one that got away or what ex are you talking to, or they went to Indianapolis. All right, it's done. It's been 20 years,
and
40 years now. It has been 40 years now.
And I understand that, Colt fans probably, like they're happy they have a team, and I don't hold it against Colt fans in particular, but I will never give it up against the franchise itself, because it's not even just leaving. It's the cowardice in leaving, because if you think about how sports moved before that, it was they could not afford to live in the city that they lived in anymore. Like, the San Diego Clippers. Actually, that's a weird, different one. So the Cardinals moved to Phoenix because they couldn't survive in Chicago anymore. Like, it wasn't because they wanted to move to Phoenix because it's a better market or something like that. They just literally couldn't survive in Chicago, so they had to move the team. What?
You mean St. Louis? The St. Louis Cardinals moved to Phoenix to become the Phoenix Cardinals.
I thought they were St. Louis, Chicago, Phoenix.
Nope.
They moved. They moved multiple times.
Maybe they have, but they went from St. Louis to Phoenix, and then the Rams moved from LA to.
Well, I mean, they're the Arizona Cardinals, so.
Arizona, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, the Colts leaving was.
I mean, no, because to your point, clearly the city of St. Louis can support a football team, because they did for a long time.
No, I'm saying back in the
LA Rams.
Back when teams would move back then, prior to '83, it was all a financial decision. It was whether or not we can't survive here anymore. We got the shitty stadium. We can't build a new one. We have to move.
I appreciate the argument. Rob, you don't have a bad picker. It's not that every woman in your past is the same amount of terrible. It's that in this particular situation, it's different for this reason. She held a knife to your throat while you were sleeping and asked about the ex. That's just crazy. You have to get rid of her. Except for it's exactly the same as every situation before.
Yeah, so you did get it right. It was Chicago to St. Louis to Arizona. But I did know I had the Chicago part right. They were in Chicago for a while. Anyway, but I'm saying the purpose is that teams up until the Colts didn't do the kind of things that teams do now when they move. All the stuff I hate, where it's just like telling San Diego that if they don't build a new $250 million stadium with taxpayer funds, then we're moving to LA.
You mean how the Ravens came to Baltimore? Same way the Ravens came to Baltimore.
I'm not a fan of how the Ravens came to Baltimore. I would have loved to have had an expansion franchise instead of Jacksonville in 1996 or in 1994, but I didn't have it. There was no say that we could make in that. And Paul Tagliabue had a hatred for Baltimore, unlike any commissioner in the NFL, because
you could at least say, I understand I'm being a hypocrite because of the way that I got my team, and I'm hating the other team that left so much.
Listen, I understand why Browns fans hate the Ravens. I'm not, I don't hate the Browns as much as
they left
I
the
hate,
name,
like, the
they
Steelers.
left the history, they left everything in Cleveland. They came here and started anew.
Yeah. The Browns are still the Browns.
What do the Browns fans have? They have nothing to hate about.
Oh well, they do.
They
hate that
that
the franchise was taken from them in the first place. But how quickly the NFL was just like, oh, we got to make good on the Browns. Oh, the Oilers left Houston. We have to make good with Houston. Like, Baltimore was not like Tagliabue literally fucking hated us because we were not being quiet about it. Like, everyone else was being quiet about it, and Baltimore wasn't being quiet about it. And that's why I have to say that your take on people not hating the Colts has to be a Eastern Shore thing. It has to be like a Philadelphia, Washington corridor thing, because it's like
it's like a normal people thing. People who aren't in the echo chamber that you're in.
No. I 1,000% disagree. You'd be more likely to find somebody who would admit to being a Colts fan, like a Democrat admitting to voting for Trump. Like, like my mom voting for Trump is more likely than some kid in Baltimore being grown up as a Colts fan and not getting made fun of it like every single day for their entire lives.
I mean, I just maintain. I think you are in a echo chamber of like the 40 loudest people complaining about this, and literally no one else cares.
I can't. I can't. I can't. No, it's 1,000% true. I don't know what to tell you.
I think this is a lot like everything you argue, where you have an inability to put yourself in the position of another person. So to you, it's a huge deal. To me, 2,000 people dying today, just in the last 24 hours, big deal. And
No, I
sports
listen.
are
I'm
the bread
not.
and circuses that keep us distracted. But I mean, I should.
I'm not saying that's not a big deal. I'm just saying like it's got to be, you got to be closer to Baltimore to experience it, I guess, because it was fervent in the
You
area,
have to be in the rich white suburbs of Baltimore to understand the struggle
or
of
in
people in the streets of Baltimore.
or within the city of Baltimore. Yeah.
Wait. When's the last time you lived as a child within the city limits of Baltimore?
That would have been when Laura was born. Is when we moved.
Okay, so your sister is 28 years old? No, 32 years old now? How old?
She is, let's see. She just turned 33.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, do the math. Here we go.
Well, no, because it's always messed up. Like, at some point, we've passed her birthday, so the, 2 years thing doesn't, anyway.
So what you're saying is you have not lived in Baltimore for twice, 3 times as many years as you did.
No, I think I spent way more time. As soon as I was able to not be in the suburbs, like as long as I had a choice in the matter, as long as I had a car with gasoline in it, I was not in the suburbs as much as I could possibly afford it,
I feel like you were living in the suburbs when we moved here. So
yeah, because we had a really nice apartment downtown, and then all of a sudden I had to start finding other arrangements.
I keep going back to the crazy women and how you can't see that this is exactly the same thing, but it is. And speaking of crazy people who send emails that later are used as evidence against them, news this week about America's drunk uncle, John Gruden. Unfortunately, not good things for him to be in the news for.
Yeah. So a week ago, there was an email that was leaked.
About a week ago.
How did I know that was coming? A week ago, a email was released that had John Gruden speaking about DeMaurice Smith, the head of the NFL Players Association, and using some definite racist language that is disgusting. But at the same time, I guess, was on the line enough that there were a lot of people who were making apologies for John Gruden throughout the week.
Listen,
and usually when you see that, when you see a on the line remark, and then people trying to defend him, then you think maybe he's going to be able to pull this out. Like maybe he's going to be able to survive this.
Well, listen,
moment.
I will definitely argue that it was on the line because I reviewed our emails from over the years, and some of the very similar things that you have said to me. I just, if the New York Times wants those emails, just let me know. I'm happy to provide them. But it's just.
I also say that's categorically false. When the problem is like.
Just for clarity, that's a joke.
The problem is
Corey is a fascist, but he's not a racist.
The problem is, I don't know. I didn't say anything. Like as bad as John Gruden, but like who knows what the fuck you've ever said in an email? Like, is there an email that you wish you could have back at some point?
I have many tweets that I refuse because I'm not a hypocrite to delete, but also really should be deleted. Really should be deleted. Yeah.
I also, it's funny. Sidebar, real quick. I was looking on Time Hop this morning, and just today it so happened that there was some like whiny like quasi self-harm message I put up on my Facebook like a decade and a half ago, like back when Facebook was just like you and 4 people, and you felt like your humor translated. Like if you heard me say like, oh man, I wrote so shitty today, I'm gonna just jump in front of traffic, you'd be like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm not gonna really jump in front of traffic because you heard my voice. But when you write it down, sometimes it's like you're like, I'm gonna hurt myself because I wrote so bad today. But it was like 15 years ago, and I left it because I was just like, You know, it
Let it
kind
go.
of speaks to something, I guess, of the time. Like this is a time capsule of what Facebook was like at the time.
The cringiest Facebook updates are the ones that you have to remember. It used to say Corey is, because the rest of it doesn't make sense without it. Those are the cringiest ones. And it's always just like, all I see in Time Up is thinking fuck the world and fuck everybody around here. And I'm like, well, okay, this makes no fucking sense as a sentence. Oh, wait, no, okay. So if it says Rob is there, and that makes sense. Also,
or if you would just see like, because sometimes you had to write in the phrase.
Yeah,
but it
the
was
first
like,
thing, the vowel or a verb.
So like, I'll look on Time Hop and it'll say like, is going bowling. And I'm just like, that's a weird tweet, weird Facebook message to put up. Anyway, back to John Gruden. We had some fun. Let's get to the awfulness. John Gruden did not, in fact, have just one single email, but rather a plethora of them that were made available through the Landover Professional Washingtons, because they are in a lawsuit with former cheerleaders.
Corey's internet is the worst tonight. So you're gonna. So there's that.
Sorry, I'm probably
like 20 seconds of silence. I'm like, I don't want to interrupt him if he comes back, but I should probably say
I was just talking. It's okay. The Washington professional football team is embroiled in a lawsuit with cheerleaders because Bruce Allen, amongst others, were sexually harassing them. So as part of discovery, they had to turn over all the emails that have ever been sent by the heads at the Washington football team. And that is where all these emails for John Gruden came released. And remember, John Gruden, I mean, his brother coached the team, but he never worked for the Washington professional football team. He never coached for them. He never did any of this. He was a broadcaster or unemployed at the time where he was sending these emails and saying some truly awful things. So there was, it literally goes across every single line. There's racist stuff in there. There's
offending everyone. I mean, no one was left out.
There's racist stuff. There's sexist stuff. There's, gay hating. There's, saying that nobody should hire Kaepernick and Eric Reed for protesting. There's just using offensive, he said the F word about Roger Goodell, that Roger Goodell is the F word, not the F word, but the appropriate one for that situation.
We can all agree, fuck Roger Goodell, honestly, but like that's not the F word he was using.
No, he was using like a bundle of sticks,
oh my God, deep pull. Wow. All right. Yeah.
And again, shows the sensitivity of that word where I don't even feel like I want to say it and have it recorded anymore because it is such a loaded.
Edit it and put it on Instagram. For you, yes.
You're gonna just add in somebody else saying it over top of me. No, I mean I'm saying like so loaded is the word that that I don't even feel like I should be able to say it in a quote. And here's John Gruden using it for people who, just displease him basically. Because I mean, like I don't think he has inside information on Roger Goodell being gay or anything like that. But
I mean, he might. Who knows? You never know what gets passed around in the sauna. In the football game, so. And by that I mean Roger Goodell gets passed around in a sauna.
I always wondered why he wanted to hug the draft picks.
Oh my. Anyway, so Gruden out.
Yeah. And quickly, it seems. The New York Times released that story, and within the day, John Gruden was gone. And here's the thing. I think we all know this person somewhere in our lives. I certainly
podcast with them. Absolutely.
No, don't put that juju in the universe. I've certainly met these people, sort of backwoods people who you have to explain, you always have to give that, like, oh, well, Roger's a little bit different. Roger grew up a little bit differently than us. So if he says something that offends you, I'm sorry. He doesn't mean it. He's just an idiot. Like he's just a dumb idiot.
Like your
Uh,
grandpa. It's your grandpa excuse.
it's the uncle, grandpa. Grandpa's from a different time. Uh, John Gruden is from a different time that shouldn't be a part of the NFL, especially considering that
Apparently not.
like the moment after they broke in the middle of Monday Night Football to say that John Gruden was being fired.
And
They
we
had an
said I think
inclusion
that's
advertisement that the NFL is for everybody.
right.
It's like
Yeah.
clearly
I think
not.
that's the first time I ever saw them break in to like do an update and still waiting just till halftime. So it's big news.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I mean, like, and break in and, like they still played the game and we didn't see any of the game. They were just, it was just Schefter saying, John Gruden fired. But my question, John Gruden's gone, good. But my question is, what the hell else is in these emails? I really want to know. Because
And I said, it's me too.
If
Me too.
John
They're gonna
Gruden
leak
is
them
sending
slowly.
enough emails to to George Allen of the Washington Professional Landovers to have a treasure trove of things that appear in the New York Times, how is there not the same thing happening from 100 other people in the league? Specific to the case of the sexual harassment of the cheerleaders, apparently nude pictures of cheerleaders were sent between Allen and Gruden. Like
Disgusting.
how many other
Disgusting.
people
Are those on the investigation or?
I think you have to look at the discovery for that type of thing.
That's public record. I'll just
It won't be
sacrifice.
that won't be public record.
I will sacrifice.
But
and
I'm
I
saying
will
how many
investigate.
times has this happened? Like how many other times has this happened with somebody else who's in the league? Like, cause sort of Dan Snyder, the owner of the Landover Professional Washingtons, has quietly sort of moved aside. Nobody ever thought that would happen, and there wasn't really much there or much said about why that was happening. He just decided to take a little leave from the team. George Allen was fired, but that was for beyond just what was written in his
Allen?
emails. Yeah, Bruce Allen. I'm sorry. Beyond what was just in his emails, and I would rather us just sort of get it all out there. Let's have a Mitchell report of everything that was in Allen's emails, because perhaps we can get some other people who don't deserve to be, public figures out of the arena too.
Best case scenario is that it doesn't come out at once. Let it leak, and let's take them down one by one. Because otherwise, there's this ability to hide in the crowd of like, well, listen, all 70 of these guys said really shitty stuff. This guy though said the worst, and we need to get rid of him. And now I'm in the back, like, yeah, I said it like twice. All right, so sue me. But you don't even worry about that guy. Now he should still not be part of professional football, but he'd be able to hide in the crowd of like everybody. So better to let it go out one by one. Let's just name them, take them down, make owners fly from across the country and go to the training facility to fire the person.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I think that's a good plan. So,
all right. Well, we'll stand tight for more Washington football team email news.
Yes,
I'm sure that's coming.
And speaking of a plague on both our houses, well, I guess it's not theoretically. It's the absence of protection from a plague on both our houses.
It's the plague on the Barclays Center in the Garden twice a year.
Right.
Kyrie Irving, professional basketball player, one of the best players in the league, is not going to get vaccinated against COVID. And in New York City, there is a law that has been passed that says that if you are inside of a gym or stadium, you have to be vaccinated, and that applies to Kyrie Irving as well. So there was some discussions as to whether or not Kyrie Irving, who makes like somewhere in the area of $30-something million a year to play basketball, was just not going to play in half the games, essentially, the ones that were in New York.
But he also can't play in LA or San Francisco or Seattle, any major.
Well, Seattle doesn't have a team anymore, so there's that. But
if you want to talk about a sport that matters, I can play along. I'm just making it up as we go now.
All I'm saying is, I just think, I oftentimes see people saying they're going to quit their job over COVID things, right?
Some people are. I know people are.
I guess I way to stick up for what you believe in, I guess. It's a stupid reason to lose your job, but I guess if you really believe it so much that you're willing to go to that extent,
he will go to the edge of the flat earth to defend his position.
The problem here is he's making $380,000 a game. Quick poll of anybody in this place who makes $380,000 in a year. No, nobody. Okay, he makes that in one game, of which he will lose out on.
My stock options are going through the roof, Corey. You have no idea.
Listen, you know what's going on with my Shiba coin. You don't know.
I said dollars, Corey, not fake internet money. Okay.
Listen, you can turn it into dollars if you wanted to.
Yes, 10. You can turn it into $10 again if you'd like.
No, I gave. Anyway, but basically, if it was only the New York games, if it wasn't other places around the country that has vaccine mandates and stuff like that, like LA and San Francisco, he would be looking at losing $16 million in a season, which is a lot of money, and almost hard to believe that the vaccine is worth that,
But again, he has 16 million. Now, and the problem with these players, and you know this, is they don't have long-term planning. That's why they go broke a few years after they're out. And so he's thinking like, fuck it, I got 10 million in the bank. I don't need to play this year.
You got to think
one less year.
You got to think that there's one person in his crew, one hanger-on, who knows that 16 million is the difference between him being employed by, the personal chef of Kyrie Irving, who's just like, well, if he's $16 million down, he might not pay me.
Johnny? Fuck Johnny. Johnny always trying to cause trouble. Johnny, you are not even part of the crew.
Go sneaking into Kyrie's room and giving him a Moderna while he's sleeping. Just he's vaxxed now. He can play. It's okay.
It's against my will, but I am vaccinated.
Some girlfriend just like, no, you got to play. I'm not having you home all day.
No. We know the girlfriends, if they want them home all day, they post tweets about it and keep them from getting a job. That's what the girlfriends do.
That's paging Xander Kane. All right. Well, I think that does it for Sports Ball.
A little late on the transition there, my fault.
Oh, it's okay. No. Moving on. I didn't know if you've known anything about this, but apparently they're investigating the January 6th insurrection. Who'da known?
Yeah, there's like 12 different committees. They're going to call hundreds of witnesses, see hundreds of exhibits, and then not actually do anything about it.
For as much shit as you give me about like, what do I do all day? If you actually watched me, you'd see I'm doing shit all day. But you're
walking back and forth between the living room and the bedroom, like, what did I come in here for? I don't even know. That's right. I have to go there. Yeah,
that's ADHD related. That's not it. No. I would really like to know what the fuck is anybody who's on this commission doing all day. Like, it's all on video. Like, I feel like I don't know. Anyway, there were subpoenas sent out too.
They're in Congress. They're not doing anything because, as you know. Congress is the opposite of progress. So,
I mean, it's fucking 99% of everyone there is just fucking worthless. And it's so disheartening.
I see that,
but not my guy.
You took the over. I'm going to take the under and be like 99.999. No, 100% of them. 100% of them worthless.
Yeah, all but maybe 4. All but maybe 4. If everything changed, could be good.
They're only doing work to be on TV, though. Those 4 really just want to be TV stars, and so they want to be famous. And they're in their 70s, Chuck Schumer, and shouldn't be on TV.
Fucking Chuck Schumer. Did you see his shit the other day?
I do not watch him or Nancy Pelosi anymore. Not my party. Just saying.
I don't know what his fucking plan is. He's got a razor thin majority, and after the debt ceiling was punted down the road a little bit, he went out there and decided that he was going to just chastise Republicans for like holding it up, basically. And the way he did it was just fucking awful. Like if he would if he would have gone out there like real fire and like said something, then I would have listened. But he was just doing his like nose on glasses on end of nose, like the continued disparity between the people who seem to care. You know, like no. If you're going up there and you're just like, fucking Mitch McConnell said that he's doing this on purpose to fucking tank the economy. He said it to me in my face. Fuck you, Mitch McConnell. Like, if you're going to go up there and do that type of thing, then that's fine. But if you're going to go up there and you're just going to go like, you know, fucking platitudes about like, you know, like, this is an irresponsible act by certain members of our body. Like, fuck you, Chuck. Just
glasses on the end of the nose, super condescending. My favorite, though, is when he does this number. I'm not even going to wear them. I'm just going to hold them on the end of my nose as I look at my notes, and then I'll take them off and look at you again. Like, all right, old man, just, you know what? It's time to go home. We need to put all of them in a home and be done with the whole thing.
I just go through my day-to-day life and I see 70-year-olds and I'm just like, why are all of you in Congress? Like,
you should not be governing.
You
should not be governing.
Y'all should be home. Like, y'all should be knitting or something like that. Like, God damn. Anyway.
Dead. If they didn't have good health care that we paid for, public health care, they'd all be dead. From natural causes, not from action.
Oh, I know. I
mean, we could take some definite action.
Let's move on to
possible.
So the subpoenas were sent out to various people related to the January 6th insurrection. Bonus boards.
My thought, that was the I can't see and I clicked the wrong scene.
You make fun of Chuck Schumer. Maybe you should take his angle a little bit here. Peek at the things.
Hang on, Corey. Wait. Hang on. Let me check the transition right here real quick. There we go, guys. There we go. We're in now. Okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry. Wait. Oh, sorry, Corey. You're going to be on topic. Let me
go back again.
My dad at the computer.
Let me put the glasses at the end of the nose and peek in. Yeah. So there was subpoenas sent out to various people within Trump's orbit to find out what they knew, what they were saying, who they were talking to, any documents related to that type of thing around, you know, the general insurrection of the Capitol that happened on January 6th.
I want to say absolutely, Corey. I am exercising executive authority. Executive privilege. I will not be giving up any documents concerning January the 6th. Just so it's clear. Just so we're all clear.
Yeah.
Me personally will not be giving up any documents.
Well, I don't think they're asking you either. So
well, they didn't ask Steve Bannon either, but he volunteered.
They did ask
he wasn't going to give up.
They did. Yeah, he's actively not cooperating with the subpoena. So
he's not even in the White House. He wasn't in the White House then. Why? Why are we asking?
Yeah.
Steve
So
Bannon?
here's the funny thing. Not hilarious funny, but you know, like end of democracy funny. Trump claims executive privilege on all the things that happened around January 6th. I don't know, in a press release or something like that. And unfortunately, he learned that's not how this works. The executive goes with whoever is in the office at the time, not anybody who at one point was an executive.
Listen, civics not his strongest subject in school.
So
math, science.
So quickly, Joe Biden allowed everything that was in the White House at the time to be part of the thing. But he also said that nobody who gets subpoenaed for documents should cooperate because of executive privilege. Again, something that he no longer has because he's no longer president. And a lot of people are doing that, which I guess like in a legal move to delay, it's something. Like I think there's a maybe they don't get thrown into jail immediately kind of thing. But at some point, the Democrats have to get fucking serious and say like, no, we're not playing these games anymore. You'll spend every single day until you agree to cooperate in jail, because that's how a subpoena works. If I get subpoenaed and I say fuck you, I'm not doing that, then I just get a contempt charge and I go to jail and I spend every single day.
Are you confused? Do you think these guys are Republicans? They're never going to do that. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
We'll have the election and the Republicans will be in the majority before they start talking about jail for subpoenas. And then the Republicans will just undo the subpoenas. So
yeah, I'm saying that's why you got to, you know, like TikTok, like what are we doing? Like, fucking, has Merrick Garland done a single thing since becoming?
He cannot do. See, the problem is you've been used to the Justice Department under Trump where they're doing a bunch of shit they can't do. Merrick Garland, a judge, is like, I can't do anything. My hands are tied. And he's right.
I mean,
the department, William Barr bending the rules.
No, but I'm saying a Department of Justice every once in a while you would hear was suing somebody or some entity for something as a representative of the United States against a certain entity.
They are busy fighting a case to reinstate the death penalty against someone, even though the Biden administration has an anti-death penalty stance, but Trump administration started the suit, so they have to complete it now. So good use of resources.
Anyway, and of course, of all the people who are getting subpoenas, one of them is Steve Bannon, as mentioned, who was not working at the White House at the time, and therefore would not have any executive privilege over documents related to January 6th, but is still playing around with this idea that, no, Trump told me not to give any documents, so I'm not going to do it.
Also would have no knowledge of what was going on because he wasn't at the White House.
Oh, but apparently he does have knowledge because he was intricately involved in what a lot of these groups were doing on January 6th and communicating that with Trump. So
I believe fully that he wants people to think that, and the Democrats want him to be part of it. I think he was waist deep in a bucket of vodka or gin or whiskey and had no idea what was going on, just like every other day.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like he's still trying to pull strings and turn knobs and stuff like that. So we'll see, I guess. In other news,
non-political,
switching away from the politics a little bit, or should we just knock out the budget and stuff like that real quick, just so we can knock that?
Well, yeah. So I added this to the list.
For just a second.
Yeah. I added this to the list, and there's not really a lot to say about it. You heard us talk the past couple of weeks about the issues with the debt ceiling, with issues with the budget, and with issues just generally with Congress in operation. And I do believe we predicted they would just kick the can down the road. And what do you know? They kicked the can down the road. So we got a continuing resolution for the budget
until December for the debt
and then
ceiling.
We got so the
to fund the government through December, and
basically kick the can to December for everything, including Biden's bills, which are going to probably be reevaluated around that time. And what are we going to do? And let's make a deal. Again, these guys had all summer to come to an agreement. They made no agreement, and then the last week it tried to make it an emergency. And this is unbelievable that you're getting paid to do this. And we're paying them. We're giving them free healthcare. We're letting them travel. Nancy Pelosi is coming to California and back to DC twice a week. We're paying for it, and nothing is getting done. No work is getting done.
Yeah.
So, I put on top of that. Now the Fed is talking about inflation being an issue because there is concern about the amount of money in circulation. Without a final budget, a lot of people are not spending money. They're saving money, which can cause inflation on the value of the currency. Currently, our currency is falling in relation to other currencies around the world, which means we have this magical situation of no set budget, no proof of the debt ceiling, and that we're actually not going to default on all our debt. Inflation is rising, and the value of the currency is declining. This can only really mean one thing, Corey. Ronald Reagan 2024, because he is the man who can solve all of this. If there's a man who can spend his way out of a deficit, it's Ronald Reagan.
Well, I mean, if Reagan came back, number one, the Republicans wouldn't vote for him.
100% they would. No, they'd be like, who is this commie? Yeah, send him home.
It was fucking guest worker visas.
You know, he was the head of a union for a while. Huh? What does that tell you?
Oh my God.
What's that tell you?
This fucking communist on our gates.
And it's funny. 30 years. Took 30 years for Ronald Reagan to be the sweetheart of the party to a guy they wouldn't vote for. And yet they still invoke his name. Every fucking time they invoke his name.
It's funny because Reagan was part of the McCarthy hearings where he said that he was not a communist and no one he knew was a communist. And then he runs for he runs for president, and he like basically shuts down communism, and then it was a long-winded downfall to the end of the Berlin Wall and stuff like that, but I'm saying like and now if we ran a Ronald Reagan candidate, like if we just made a Ronald Reagan avatar and didn't put an R next to his name, then Republicans wouldn't vote for him. Not a chance. Not in any way, shape, or form.
Even if you put an R next to his name, Trump would put someone up against him and back that person.
They'd call him a
'cause he's not
socialist.
far enough.
They absolutely
Yeah, 100%
call
they
him a
would.
socialist. Anyway.
Yes. So again, now let's shift away from DC because that's just going to get my blood boiling.
Yeah. So
let's go to Florida / Wyoming, where we've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks, the Gabby Petito case, and we said, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, they had discovered her body and said it was her, and that the manner of death was indeterminate. But I fucked this up the last time too. The manner and
cause
something else. Yeah. Also the cause. Yeah. There's an M word because it has like a nice alliteration. But the manner was homicide.
Mode.
She was mode. Maybe. The manner was homicide. She was killed by somebody else. But they hadn't said how that person had killed her. And then we came out this week and died by strangulation.
Yeah. Which is just in case people think that there's roving gangs of people who just strangle other people to death. Doesn't usually happen.
No.
More often than not, the person who strangles you knows you somehow. It's not the type of crime that happens.
Very personal. Very personal.
Yeah, it's not the type of crime that happens just randomly out of nowhere.
And she'd been dead for 3 to 4 weeks when she was discovered, which matches the timeline of about when Brian Landry was last seen in Wyoming before coming home, saying nothing to anyone about why the girl wasn't with him, and then going off into the wilderness and getting lost.
Mm-hmm.
Getting lost.
Yeah. Getting lost at the end of a shotgun.
Likely. I think at this point it's likely.
I mean, I can't even... it seems pretty open and shut that he knows way more than he would be willing to say, and I'm sure they're going to find some sort of way to tie it up a little bit nicer for everybody. There's some DNA that was found around the site of the strangulation, and it matches Brian Laundrie or something like that.
Yeah,
something will happen that will put a bow on this whole little thing. And I know police are actively looking for him, and there's a lot of people who are actively looking for him. Dog the Bounty Hunter, apparently, for one. And
if Dog finds him before the FBI,
I'm not paying taxes.
Give that man a show. Just give that man a show back, and
I'm done with taxes.
I'll forgive it.
I mean, like, if it was me, if I was Brian Laundrie in this situation, and I just went on a camping trip and I strangled my girlfriend to death, I have to feel pretty sure that I'm going to die in jail. Like, I'm going
to turn into a Facebook status from 2007.
No, I'm saying I think I'm realizing that I'm going to die in jail. Like, I don't see legal chicanery being able to get around most of the things that are going on here for his case. And, if that's the case, honestly, if it's life in jail, or, you could just go out in the Everglades and off yourself, then I don't see why he wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And, again, maybe he's innocent and he has a really good lawyer. Probably not. At this point, I'm like, any lawyer who told him to run this far, this long, not a good lawyer. You don't want. That's a guy who's like, we cannot win this case. I'm gonna need you to just go off yourself in the Everglades. Like,
well, the problem is if the lawyer says, like, we joked around, the first time we brought up this story where I said, that lawyer's great for keeping him off, keeping him out of the radar of the cops. But the difference is if the lawyer, as a lawyer, you say to your client, you are definitely going to spend the rest of your life in jail, so you should probably go to some country that won't extradite you and figure out a way to leave and flee. Then you are all of a sudden tied up into a conspiracy, which is not protected by attorney-client privilege. And the other side of that is if you just say like, "Hey, make yourself scarce," then that's not him telling the attorney telling him to flee or anything like that. Like that's
Have we checked to see if Rudy Giuliani is the family friend?
I mean, maybe it doesn't matter whether or not it's legal. Yeah.
I can take a good guess at what the advice was and whether or not it was legal.
You gotta flee, Donald. They're gonna get you. I laid you a soft bed in Ukraine. Just go there.
With Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
I found a hotel on his laptop, and we're going to send you there right now. Anyway,
it's called Quality Inn.
We'll continue to follow that. And I'm assuming that at some point that a lot of the conspiracy people are saying they actually did already find his body, but the DNA takes about a week to get back. So we will probably know later on this week that he is dead and they found his body and confirmed it. And then we'll likely also get there was DNA at the burial site, which was Laundrie. So that's we're not going to be able to charge him, find him guilty, but this is as close as we're going to get to a resolution. He went and killed himself and his DNA was on her body in the burial. So we can assume.
I mean, in a situation like this, I think killing yourself is really just saving us the time and trouble of the keeping you in prison for all those years.
I mean, listen,
if you're going to, assuming he doesn't have some sort of other reason that he would, if he's killing himself because he did this and he knows he's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, then I think he's doing ourselves a favor. Like,
No, but as the attorney part of me says, make the state put on their case and make them prove you guilty, because Baltimore has like a 2% conviction rate.
Yeah,
maybe you'll get lucky. But this ain't Baltimore, and also I wonder where they're going to charge him. But in either state, Wyoming or Florida, they have the death penalty. So really, you're just saving us a bunch of years if you did it, and there's enough evidence to prove it. We're eventually, state's going to put you to death eventually. Might as well just save the taxpayers much money. So yeah. And speaking of people who have skedaddled with no explanation, a lot of stories this week about people who want to join the hallowed ranks of every person that I know in the city of LA. And by that I mean functionally unemployed. Hey, I know you're going to say I'm working all week this week. I get it. Yes. But functionally unemployed. People who just get to sit around and lounge around and do whatever they want. And those two cases this week where report came out that 4.3 million Americans have quit their jobs and are not planning to go back to work. Mostly because of mandates on the one side of the political spectrum and concern about COVID on the other end of the spectrum. And I think a lot of that group across party lines is, I've been working from home for 18 months. The fuck do I need to come back to the office for? Which is generally not a bad argument. I don't have anything to say about that. Like,
I mean, I think there is rationale to having people in the office from time to time.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
I think most places could probably have work from home almost all the time, but every week or so we're going to have a big meeting where we would rather have everyone in a room as opposed to a Zoom. Like,
yeah,
that
make sure you're proof of life that you actually own pants still, that kind of thing. Yeah,
it seems like a fair thing to ask for. I mean, there was a lot of people who were saying that, that this has been part of a long trend going on throughout the summer into the fall here of people quitting their jobs. And obviously this is like a big number of people doing it right now. But yes, obviously a little bit of COVID mandate stuff that people don't want to be a part of. But then there's also just a lot of people who are just like, I'm fucking sick of my job and I want to do something different.
And as one person put it to me, I have never had time to just sit and think about how work has impacted my health and my mental health. And I don't want to do this anymore. And I hate it because it's all younger people. And I'm just like, listen, motherfucker, I suffered through I flipped burgers. I cleaned the bathrooms. I delivered pizzas. Yes, I understand it's not good for your mental health, but you need to fucking suffer. I got that fraternity mentality. You need to suffer because I suffer. And I hate it. I hate it about myself. Half the people who are doing it are still back living at home with their parents. And I'm like, you couldn't pay me to do that at this point in my life. So good for you, I guess. Also, your parents are cool. My parents were like, hey, you guys have been dating 5 years, so clearly you're gonna have to sleep in different bedrooms on different floors. So I mean, it's a different mindset maybe amongst parents. But one commonality is all of these businesses are acknowledging that vaccines and or mandates, or vaccine mandates and or COVID fears are the reason behind their inability to find staff, except for one, because Southwest Airlines had a unique weather phenomenon that affected their planes and their planes only. It has nothing to do, Corey.
Just rain
despite
clouds
all your
over
allegations,
directly all the Southwest airline flights.
that terminal and that terminal only. But it had nothing to do, even though you may have heard this on the
That
internet.
terminal was responsible for all 1,900 flights that were canceled this week.
Yes. Okay. You have, there's a waterfall effect you can't understand, Corey. I'm sorry. All right. But it had nothing to do with COVID and a sick out for COVID mandate.
There was one story where some guy in Chicago wanted to fly to Vegas to see the Bears take on the Raiders. And he's just like, my flight was canceled, and then the replacement flight was canceled, and now I can't go to the game. And all Southwest is offering me is like free bags on my next flight. And I'm just like, that ain't fucking worth. I just blew $200 on tickets. Like,
I mean, to be fair, though, I make fun of him, but I would be real upset if we lived in Baltimore.
If you made a plan like, and you like,
we're flying to Vegas. I got the hotel. I got the tickets. We are like $3,000 in at this point, and then Southwest just cancels 4 flights in a row, and we missed the game. I'd be pissed.
Yeah. Oh, I'd sue them. If they were trying to give me fucking bag vouchers, I would sue them. I would be the first name on the class action that would come.
That is why they give you the bag vouchers, because if you accept the bag vouchers or the meal voucher or the hotel voucher, you're waiving your right to sue.
Yeah.
And people don't read the fine print on these things that they accept, but that's what happened. So now, bro, if you accepted the bag vouchers, you're out of luck. No lawsuit for you.
That's why I start my negotiation with any airport figuring out, or any airline figuring out what this could potentially be as a legal judgment. Because the United
free flights for life.
You remember that poor guy who got dragged off the United flight?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he set a very promising bar for how much you can get against an airline for being.
By the way, I feel like part of the negotiation was it was United, right? United saying, listen, we'll let you fly free for life. You want me to get back on a plane? Are you out of your mind? You give me Southwest for life, I will take it. And then he sees this, he's like, fuck.
God damn it, I can't win.
I'll take Spirit Airlines. Let's do it.
Goddamn state of airline travel.
What happened to the good old days with the salads and the steaks and the champagne?
I flew on Pan Am, you bitches. No, but clearly, the loud part that they're not saying out loud is that apparently there was massive sick outs that were happening across Southwest. And if
you're not aware, a sick out is just when a bunch of people call out sick at the same time, which is totally legitimate. And I can call out sick and happen to be sick the same day as Corey. It's just odd that 1,000 people are sick on the same day. And we can't go on strike, but we're going to go on strike. Here we go.
Yeah. And apparently it's about COVID vaccines. And I think that Southwest is trying to not make this part of the story because if people find out that Southwest is the airline that doesn't enforce the COVID vaccine, then people will stop flying Southwest. Like, it'll just be Trumpers on Southwest all by themselves, not wearing their masks.
Much like Kyrie Irving, you guys get paid a lot of money. You're willing to miss out on all of the money for a vaccine? All right, come on now.
What airline is going to support you in this? That's the worst. Because, like, at some point we're going to get to the point where the airlines start announcing what percentage of their staff is vaccinated. United has 97% vaccination right now, and the other 3% we're working on, or some, like.
I think they actually have. They've said that like they're pilots for the most part, but they also dealt with the union. They came to an agreement with the union, and Southwest is basically like, "No, fuck y'all. No, we don't play that." And then they got a sick out. That's what happens.
I also I think it's speaking about things happening during Reagan that we seem to forget. These people can get fired very easily. Like,
yep,
it's not that.
They can get blacklisted too.
Yeah,
after they get fired.
You
So.
don't need to do a lot to not be an air traffic controller anymore, or not be a stewardess or a pilot or anything like that.
Well, yeah.
So.
Apparently, it wasn't the stewardesses. It was or the flight attendants. It was, which is a separate union. It was the pilots union. And
I bet
I'm
you
sorry,
the flight attendants want mass vaccination just because they can get people to shut the fuck up about taking off the goddamn mask on the plane.
Yes. I would imagine that people who have to deal with people on the plane are like, no, love it. Let's do it. Everybody, let's line up and get it done. But listen, you want pity from me, Southwest Pilots Union? I'm sorry. You have a job that allows you to travel all across the country and or the world. Cheat on your wife in multiple zip codes in whatever hotel they pay for. I got no pity for you. I'm sorry. Sorry.
And you make money at it.
I was gonna say I saw what's that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he pretends to be a Pan Am pilot?
The Aviator. Oh no, that
Catch
was
Me If You Can?
No, that was
Catch Me
Catch Me If You Can. Aviator
I've seen
was
Catch Me If
Howard
You Can.
Hughes. Yeah.
I know what you pilots do. I watched The Flight Attendant on HBO. I know how this works.
Clearly, all based on real life.
All accurate depictions
of every single pilot and flight attendant.
Today, in 2021.
Well, if you want an accurate portrayal of what we are like, there's only one place to go for that.
The Communist Manifesto or
OTheAnthem.com, OTheAnthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
New content.
You can find me at my website, CoreyBeckerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoreyBeckerFilm, and at LegendsCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. It's funny you mentioned new content because I wanted to talk to you about something related to new content. But I'm not going to do it here on the show. I'll wait until after we're wrapped.
Listen, the only new content that is coming out of you in the next 6 months, Rachel's producing it, and it's very expensive. It's like $1 million, 1.5 million over the next 18 years. And I ain't got that kind of scratch, buddy. Sorry.
Well, I will talk to you about it after. Not that one, but the other
you can, not that one. No, I mean, listen, we can talk about that one too. You can find more of me at Robert and Cheek and all your social networks. Fucked my vibe up. RobertandCheek.com for all the stuff that I'm working on. And of course, I stream occasionally. I've just hit the 1 year anniversary and I realized I didn't stream on the 1 year anniversary. Sorry. Of me streaming Call of Duty on Twitch. So you can find me twitch.tv/Robert and Cheek. Come join me, play along. We're getting a party. And it's Ankou, ANKOU space KER space YS is where you can find me. And moving from Cold War over to Vanguard. Yes, I've already pre-ordered. So in the next couple of weeks, as season 6 wraps up, I'm going to be moving over to get Vanguard. Other exciting news. We found out we can do split screen while in a party. So Corey will be joining us for future adventures.
Oh God. I hope I don't ruin your rank or something. I hope my stink doesn't rub off on you.
I will treat Call of Duty the same way I treat the podcast. I will carry you through every single encounter, and eventually, you'll thank me.
Much like the podcast, I'll get distracted by something halfway through, and I'll just be like, "Hey, you guys ever see this tree?"
See, but the funny thing is,
getting shot in the back of the head, like, y'all see this tree?
On COD, that might be important. It might be like, I've never looked at the tree. Oh, wait. So if I melee it twice and then shoot it once, a door opens up. Because that's the shit that that's what these designers do. Every day a new Easter egg thing is coming out about the new map. And it's just like, oh yeah. So what I did is I just jumped off every car on the street, and all of a sudden I was inside an arcade game where I was driving a car. I'm like, why the fuck are you jumping off every car on the street? But that is something Corey would do. Just getting shot, just like, you ever jumped off this van? I feel like I can get on top of this van. And he just gets up on the van and jumps off and then gets shot. He's shot in the game, not in real life.
Yeah. I mean, clearly.
Roberto is not allowed to have a gun in the apartment. So for that reason.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Thank you for joining us. Oh, have a good week, everybody.
God, I'm really not looking forward to all the things that I emailed to the Washington professional football team.
Oh, it's going to be bad. You thought Bruce Allen was bad. Wait till you see William Baker. Hang on, I'm trying to transition. I can't say it.
I used to think I was just emailing into the void.
No, that's Twitter. They're just screaming into the void.
Nobody
Now in the Library of
checks.
Congress.
Nobody checks the emails at the Washington Professional Football Team.